Motions running high in Michigan today. The Republican Party there and controlled legislature in that state approved two controversial right-to-work bills today, which end the state's closed shop policy and will allow people to opt out of joining the union at their place of work. Now, all the while, pro-union protesters, they crowded the state capitol. Governor, he's flip-flopped on the issue, saying it was labor and Democrats who hit first, trying to pass Prop 2 back in November, a measure that would have put collective bargaining rights into the state constitution. Voters, they turned it down.
I made the point to him to say, if you go forward with this, you're going to create a environment involving labor issues that this could rise to the level where I might not be able to keep it off my agenda, and unfortunately that's what's happened.
Now, Metro Detroit Democrats in Congress met privately with the governor today, asking him to delay the divisive issue, but the short answer is he said no. Meanwhile, on Monday, before several hundred UAW workers, President Obama, he waded into the brewing fight as well.
These so-called right-to-work laws, they don't have to do with economics, they have everything to do with politics. What they're really talking about is giving you the right to work for less money.
Okay. Now, once the governor signs the bill, like you heard he will, Michigan becomes the 24th state here. Listen, he might be right. This is about politics, and in the end, the wages are going to go down. But at the end of the day, the public spoke. And also, they say, you know what? Why is it right to force somebody to pay dues for something they don't want to? Doesn't that run counter to the whole idea of protecting labor?
And when the argument is that if you don't pay those dues, you're still getting all the benefits of the people who do pay those dues in the collective bargaining, right? But, you know, unions are incredibly important to protecting workers' rights. But I think that, you know, the libertarian streak in America makes things like right to work popular. You know, people do agree with you that what gives them the right to tell you to have to join unions.
You ever thought, Dominic, we've seen the political power of unions, right? This movement and this trend, especially in Rust Belt states like Ohio and Michigan, you know, where the labor movement is so huge. Even today, even as weekend as they got, did you think you'd see this happen?
No, especially in a state like Michigan and Detroit and the auto movement and so on. It's almost wicked what's going on in terms of. And I'm not going to put a Democratic spin or a Republican spin on this, but I just want to throw a question out to you and to the table. Why are Republican elected officials so concerned about the unions and whether or not you have an option to pay your dues or not? We already know 9 out of 10 people, if you don't have to pay dues, what are you going to do? You're not going to pay them. So, but why are Republicans so concerned with this?
For the same reason. Yeah. But my point, though, Dom, is they couldn't get this thing passed if the public didn't back them up on it. That's the part that surprised me.
Not necessarily. All it takes is a governor that controls his legislature. That's all it takes. End of story. The public will has nothing to do with this.
Look what happened to Scott in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. The guy, they had a recall on him.
Right.
And he lived.
And he became a national Republican star. You don't think every other Republican governor is thinking the same thing? Let me challenge the unions. It's a no-lose situation for me. And in the process, I become a national star.
But my only point is, you take Wisconsin, with all the national money that poured in, I would have bet dollars to donuts that once the recall happened, he would have been on the unemployment line looking for a gig. He won. And it wasn't even that close.
Times our attorney.
So I guess to me, and that's a blue state, right? The fact that that happened to Walker, was pretty notable. Republicans see this obviously as a major issue here that they're going to try and play.
Listen, this is an issue for all of us, but also you have to understand, Dominic, that just like you're saying the Republicans are going after the unions, the Democrats are going after the rich people, right? Because it's the same type of constituency that fund their campaigns and put bodies on the ground. But you have to understand one thing here. That, you know, if you're part, and I love unions and they do a great job, but people deserve a right to decide whether or not they want to be part of something or not.
Well, certainly Michigan is going to go that way here, an issue that we will definitely be coming back to. We take a quick break. When we come back, I mentioned earlier in the program about our privacy special. We're bringing the next installment of our special series, Surveillance Nation. We're going to show you how your online footprint is a lot less private than you imagine.